Yes, I live in this hotel.
This is inside of our room, and more on this app, you're seeing people who live in hotels.
But with the prices that I see down here in South Florida, if I had to choose, I would be living in a hotel.
There's been a lot of people on TikTok saying that they are now living in hotels, sometimes to save money, because the cost of living in our current economy, inflation, and sometimes not being able to be approved to live in a home has people opting in for this as a solution.
Yes, I live in this hotel. Yes, I pay $307 a week, and you're right. That is $1228 a month. And I'm going to take you inside the room to show you everything that comes with. No, I didn't have to pay a deposit. I didn't have to do a background check. I didn't have to do a credit check. I didn't have to prove 3 times the amount of my income. I didn't even have to worry about getting my own utilities turned on, including Wi-Fi and trash service. And because I've been doing this for over 2.5 years, I got enough reward points for this little blanket here that they gave me. Yes, I can cook. There's 2 eyes on the stove. It don't have an oven, but I have a toaster oven. Looking to upgrade that one, and I brought the toaster. Also the microwave, and of course, I had to bring our coffee pot. We've only been back in this one for 2 days, so don't pay attention to the mess. But we come in, I give them all of their stuff, and I replace it with ours. I'll be doing a more updated video to show y'all once we get the rest of our stuff in. And yes, I can receive my mail and packages here too. And no, this isn't for everyone. It works for us. It works for me. Oh, also, we have a refrigerator. Some of y'all asked that as well. Life isn't always perfect. Some of us have a little bit harder times in life. We take different roads that wasn't always great, some that had roundabouts, but at the end of the day, it's not about what you get, it's about appreciating what you got. And I am happy with my life.
For around $1,200, she has shelter, she has a fridge, she has a little hot pot to cook on, water, heat, AC, and internet. So I need to know, objectively speaking, does this sound too bad? And I know a lot of people are about to be like, hey, I'd rather have my house, blah, blah, blah. However, if we're talking strictly about affordability, I don't think this is that bad. Considering how much the average price of rent is in America, that might have only covered the rent in a lot of places. So I can understand why a lot of people are exploring this as an option. And as she said, this may not be for everybody. This could even be a temporary thing a lot of people decide to do. I even went through a period in my younger years where something very similar to her setup is how I was living. So I definitely understand just having to do what you have to do in order to have some sort of shelter. Perhaps she couldn't afford rent, utilities, internet, all the other things that come along with renting, including renter's insurance and things of that sort, from somewhere else. On top of that, yes, you do have things like credit checks that eliminate a lot of people from qualifying to move into certain properties. And I need to see what the comments say. Somebody here says $1,200 per month for a roof over your head with utilities included. Well played. And speaking of that, this comment is interesting because some people feel like this is a play. To me, I just see this as somebody trying to get by. However, with things of this sort going extremely viral on TikTok and a lot of people wanting to do these sort of things just for content, is there a possibility that people living in hotels might experience some price changes if this becomes too popular? Absolutely, because there is a thing called supply and demand. What once starts off as a hack turns into inflated prices. And for the sake of the people actually doing this because this is the only way they can have some sort of shelter that they can afford, I hope that won't be the case, but definitely a possibility. And somebody here says a lot of them have free breakfast, and that's another great point. And some extended stay places have laundry facilities on site and snacks, happy hour in the late afternoon, and etc. Additionally, a lot of them come with kitchens, full kitchens, washing machines, probably downstairs somewhere. And I've had to live in a few hotels that have a kitchen in there with laundry downstairs. What's even crazier is, imagine you doing all this and you get a pool. Ooh, and I'm not really a big pool person, but just thinking amenities, right? Just stay with me. Some hotels have gyms. The more amenities, the better. And there are a lot of people, interestingly enough, saying that this is a steal. A comment here saying, me contemplating on hotel living. Now, I know a lot of y'all wanted to get into van life and y'all was in there uncomfortable and hot in them cars. This comment here says, wouldn't it be something if all renters did this and waited for greedy landlords to bring down those prices? Now, the thing about that is when the prices go up for the homeowners, unfortunately, eventually it also goes up for the tenants. For example, property taxes go up, home insurance going up, them having shortages in escrows. If it goes up for the property owner and they're not even living in the house anymore, why do you think it would go down for the tenant? It wouldn't. And this is why it's important to understand what is going on in the housing market, what's going on in the world and the economy, because it affects everybody, whether you all want to believe it or not. And I'm not hating on anything she's doing here. And this video here says, I may live in an extended stay hotel with 2 kids, but the $720 I pay weekly is paid. And our space is clean. And actually, this did look pretty clean. She had a microwave, she has a refrigerator. Looks like she had a little setup there for the children. And another thing I want to point out is that a lot of these people are getting house cleaning. So she did have somebody in there sweeping the bathroom. However, room service or house cleaning likely is coming by picking up trash, making the bed, things of that sort. And another thing that I've noticed is they have personalized a lot of these hotel spaces. When they're coming in with the intent of living there long term, I noticed some people even decorating the hotels that they're living in, taking down pictures off the wall, really making it their own. Now, somebody here is saying that $720 a week is a lot. And honestly, that is kind of high. Compared to the last woman we just seen, it makes you wonder, is this person perhaps not able to obtain housing due to their credit score or some other factors? Because if you pay $720 weekly, you're paying $2,880. That's a lot of money, y'all. Now, I know rent is high, but dang it, I don't know about that high. That's some people's mortgage on their home that they actually own. So I have to agree with this comment. And obviously, I'm not the only one. Somebody else here is saying, baby, get an apartment at this point, low income, because $700 a week is wild. Another one saying, $3,000 a month, and you're wasting it on extended stay. That's wild. Somebody here said, living in a Motel 6 for 2 years saved me and my 2 kids. It was a home. I'm so glad you're safe and warm. A home is a home. I don't care where it is. And I've even stayed in a motel before. It had roaches and everything. Like, I know. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. The way I see it, it's not about where you're at. It's about where you're going. And here's another video of a woman showing herself from her POV of living in a hotel for almost a year. She even has like a shoe rack here on the door. That didn't come with the room, I assume. Only thing is there's not much space for you to really move around and do much, in her specifically. And she's even changing the bedding in her room. So I guess she doesn't have room service doing it for her. It's totally okay, that's up to her. She replaced it, she's cleaning up, reorganizing stuff. And I'm really glad to see the comments are encouraging. Somebody here says, as long as you got somewhere to lay your head, that's all that matters until things get better. And I totally agree. And if anybody don't, if you want to fight, you can join the military. That's what I did. That was the only way out of this situation. And I really just want to read the encouraging ones right now. Somebody said, listen, been here, and baby, it's going to get better. God don't put more on you than you can bear. You got that. You know, videos like this really hit home for me because I remember what this felt like. And I really empathize with people going through situations like this, especially when you've experienced things like this for yourself.
No, we do not have to switch rooms. There's a couple here that's been in the same room over 2 years, and we've stayed in the room here before over 10 months. Yes, you can have a pet here. And a friend of mine let me know that it's $25 extra a week to have a pet. She has a pet. However, if it's a service animal, you do not have to pay. Or at least they don't here. I'm speaking for this one here. Yes, people stay here with kids. They actually have a school bus that picks up and drops off in front of the hotel.
Now that's news to me. In my head, my brain is registering, hey, they're picking up in residential areas. I'm like, they pick up at the hotel too? Wow. Okay.
Do I admire that situation? No, but hey, it does work, and there is rooms with 2 beds, and one lady has 5 children. She has a 2-bed, plus she has an air mattress. It may be sad, but hey, she's doing it. And her kids are very loved, very spoiled, very well dressed, very well taken care of. Yes, I reserved the room for 6 months. No, I didn't have to pay it all at one time. I have to go down each week and make my payment. I do have the room reserved till May of 2026. No, it's not for everyone, but for ones that it is for, hey, it works for us, and we're happy, we're thankful, and we're able to save money this way, trying to get a piece of land and still gonna make our little tiny house dream come true.
Wow. Yeah. And I hope she is able to do all of the things that she's planning to do while staying in this extended living hotel room. Somebody here says, I work at an extended stay. A lot of people choose to stay because they can't meet the qualifications to rent, and that's exactly what I was thinking. Now, I don't know this woman's situation or anybody's in this video specifically, but that makes a lot of sense. Financially speaking, a lot of people make lackluster and damaging financial decisions, and when people look over those credit reports, you are not the top pick, whether you have the money or not. Many people have things like damages and things like that they've done to other places that they've lived in. Sometimes the background check will do it. You'll get disapproved just off of that. Criminal records, criminal history, all things that people really need to consider. For those people, that might be one of the reasons why they're in the extended living hotels. And I see a lot of people in the comments are really with this. It says, this is really smart. Everything is included. Hotel living will start being the norm. And if it does, I see prices going up. I don't make the rules, y'all. I just see the writing on the wall. Just think about hotels during peak season when a lot of people are traveling to a certain area. Do you ever notice that hotels tend to charge more than on a normal day? That's because of the influx of customers ready to throw money at them. And because of that, they must up the prices. And the ones that can afford to stay there still are able to stay, and everybody else has to go. You got to go find another hotel. But guess what? Around the area, all the other hotels are adjusting their prices too and increasing them. And they can afford all to increase them at the same time because, again, supply and demand. And then when the holidays are over, you notice that the hotel prices go back to normal. It's because they knew they were going to get paid anyway. They knew the people were going to flood in and they knew they could make some money. It's all about money. It's business, nothing personal. So if y'all make this too popular, it might be working right now, but those prices might go up. Just something to be cautious about before you pack up and move about your house or your apartment or wherever you at.
This message is specifically for my people that are living in a hotel, a motel, Holiday Inn. If you have been going through your journey and living in that hotel for over 30 days, you need to take your ass up to that front desk and you need to ask them rather, to take the taxes off your room. After 30 days, you become exempt technically, but they are not going to take those taxes off unless you ask.
News to me. And for all the people working in hotels, comment down below. Let me know. Is this true?
Because technically you live at the property now. You don't need to be, that's a different story. You didn't hear that from me though. You know what I'm saying? If it has been well over 30 days, 9 times out of 10, you have a credit on your reservation. But it's going to take somebody with common sense to sit down any day after the 30 days that they've taken your taxes off, and the credit literally should pop up by itself. So you might got some free days, might be a threefold, might be a week, depending on how long you've been there. But I know I just helped somebody up.
Hey, if people are already looking into doing it anyway, why not? Why not ask? Like, what does it hurt to ask? It's just a question. The worst they're going to tell you is no. Somebody here says, we stayed in one for 4 months, ended up getting a refund of $2K when we left. Why was the refund $2K? And people are in the comments saying, this is why some places don't let you stay over 28 days. Another one saying they don't allow that in Vegas either. They have a limit of 28 days. Now, I don't know about Vegas, so you need to do your own research. And someone here is saying most hotels make you leave before the 30 days. And this commenter, who is also the creator, says, I could definitely see why, especially if it makes property value go down. As far as customer satisfaction or traveling guests that have no intentions on living there. People get comfortable and rooms get filthy. Now, that's a great point. I done seen some people live somewhere for about a year or two, absolutely trash a property. So I don't even want to know what that might look like in a hotel room, which is smaller and more compact.
So I said I'm living in a hotel for 2 months and everybody lost it. But thank God some of you guys understood what I was saying. My decision to choose a hotel instead of an Airbnb was because I'm not willing to pay a ridiculous amount of money. I would rather save that money and take my kids out and have fun while we're here. Everybody was concerned about the traffic situation. I've heard of it. But this hotel where I'm staying, it's an extended stay. Yes, they have a bad rap for that. But everybody that I've seen coming in here are families. This is why I feel safe. You have a
She has a gym. Interesting.
laundry, you have a gym. There's a pool at the end. I'll show it on the next video. This is the lobby. You need a card to get in. It might not be like this in other extended stays, but I love this one. It's in a corporate area. It's safe. It's clean. You don't see anybody just hanging around. And I gotta tell you, if I had to choose, if it was just me and my husband and we didn't have kids, I would be living in a hotel right now. We are here for work. That's why I said I'm staying here for 2 months.
Yeah, and that happens for a lot of people. They end up staying extended stay because of work. But did y'all hear all those amenities she said she had?
But with the prices that I see down here in South Florida, if I had to choose, I would be living in a hotel. No utilities, no first class security, no credit check, easier to get in. And they provide breakfast. Some of the comments said, oh, you could stay in an Airbnb. We did stay in an Airbnb. The Airbnb was $800 a week. And next door was somebody with some type of security guy staying outside all night long. I did not feel safe. This is why we decided to go into a hotel. Yes, it's a smaller place, but it's clean. Look at the inside. We have enough space for the cabinets for all my kitchen stuff. I have a full-size stove and fridge. What else could I want? This hotel here is fairly new. Actually, the room we just got was just remodeled, they said. We were the first people to stay in it. I'm not saying that every extended stay is going to be the same. So what I would say is do your research. If you don't like that, it's okay. You don't have to like it, but that doesn't mean it's okay for me. But that doesn't mean that it's not okay for me and my family. We are fine. We are happy. We are satisfied. We are safe. And that's all that matters.
And you know what? She has a great point where she said, they don't have to like it. Yeah. The thing is, this is real life. This might be a little too real for some of y'all. There are people sleeping in their cars. There are people living in hotels. I know many people only see the glamorous sides of life on social media, but in real life gets tough. There are people sleeping on the couches of their friends, families, homeless. And I say this humbly. This is just something we have to remember when we see some of these sort of videos online. And people can grow and be in a better financial situation. For her, she's specifically here for work. So this is temporary for her. However, even for those who this is more permanent until they can find some sort of other option, or maybe this is just how they want to live, that's their life, that's their choice. She even said if she didn't have children, she would probably live in something like this. So I want to know, for all the people without children, would you live in a hotel, an extended stay hotel, if you didn't have children? Or would you even do it with children? This comment here says, I have a studio for rent, $1,300. The basics are included in South Florida also. Great for a nurse or a single person, no criminal records, no pets, also in a safe area. And I want to know, off of that comment, do y'all think that's a good deal? And if you were on a work trip, would you rather be in an extended stay hotel or an Airbnb?
One of the things that TikTok is exposing is how many people actually live in extended stay hotels and live in hotels in general. Because I've been covering different things about homelessness for years, and more on this app, you're seeing people who live in hotels full time. Like that's it. Like between people living in their cars, like RV van life was really touted on this app as like a viable solution for a lot of people. And then to see the people who tried that and showing how much it actually sucks for a lot of people was important. But now to see the people talking about how they live in extended stay hotels and they have no idea how they would get into apartments. That's another important conversation to have, because when you think of people that are homeless, if they didn't have if something happened with that extended stay hotel, they would literally be out on the street. And some hotels, because they're worried about people having residency right, they will make you get out at a certain point.
And that's a great point. And I think why we keep having the conversation of the 28-day period being the maximum for a lot of the hotels, and also a good point that TikTok is exposing a lot of different things that many people don't even know is going on. But I think the people who are doing this specifically are looking for a deal, or they're not able to get into a house, because otherwise it doesn't really make sense of why you would choose hotel living extended stay over renting somewhere that could be less. Unless you just want to be pampered, and you want the room service and you want somebody to cook you breakfast because you might be in an extended stay that provides breakfast. I can understand that. Isn't that kind of like having a chef? I digress. I'm just looking on the bright side here. Other than the amenities and stuff like that, if it's not cheaper, it may not make sense. This woman is back again talking about her hotel living, and it says here that she is paying $8,094 for something.
This is the hotel that I reserved from November 17th, 2025 till May 17th, 2026, which is a total of 6 months, and it's going to cost me $8,094.14. No, I do not have to pay all that up front. I can either pay $307 a week, or I can pay the $1,228 a month. You could even pay every 2 weeks. It really is up to you. Your total amount is your total amount. I'm gonna take y'all inside my room. This is inside of our room, and what we get inside of here for that amount is say hey to hubby. Also, we have the full-size refrigerator and freezer. It came with the microwave. It also came with the 2-eye stove burner here. We brought our own coffee pot and some extra items over here. It does come with a full-size bathroom, shower, pretty nice size. And of course, it's all about how you make it, but this is what we are doing pretty much so we can like save up money, get a piece of land, and actually start paying on something that's ours.
And you know what? She has this room decked out, y'all. Are y'all seeing all this Christmas decor and everything? This is very personalized. No, the hotel likely did not give her all this stuff. She had a spice rack and everything in her kitchen. You can tell this is personal. And she actually has a stove in this one. The last one, I think she had a hot pot, and I have nothing against it. You got to do what you got to do. You got to do what's best for you. And interestingly enough, she's trying to save up for some land. Now, if she can hold it down until she can come up till then and actually save her money for that, I feel when she looks back on this time, she might say to herself, that might be worth it for her. Now, again, different strokes for different folks, and everybody has different goals and ambitions. But if this is going to get her to what she's trying to achieve, I say, why not? She has food, shelter, water, basic necessities. May be unconventional to a lot of people, but that doesn't really matter because they're not going to help you get to whatever you're trying to get to anyway. But I need to know what y'all think about all this down below. Would you ever do hotel living? How do you feel about people living in hotels or extended stays? Do you think that this is a good move in order to help people save money? Or do you think they should go ahead and lease a house or an apartment or live anywhere except a hotel? But we got to start making better decisions today in order to have a better future.